Hello, Tashidilek, everybody. Let's continue the biography of Lord Trogon Tsangpa. So, Tsangpa, as I explained you, almost I've explained 2/3 of his biography. Now the last part of his biography. His age between 38 to 58 was the time to collect, let's say, disciples and teach them the Drukpa tradition and Drukpa teachings, and build monasteries and retreat centers. So so then he was thinking, he was walking in the how to say he was alone walking in barren land and in Tibet. Once he was walking through the nowadays in Tsang place, he was walking, and then he suddenly saw in one open place, let's say in empty place, he saw a goat animal was in the middle of the place, and then he was thinking, that is good sign. I would like to, or I want to build a monastery here, and that can be auspicious. As soon as he thought, I will build a monastery, he saw one goat animal. So he thought, okay, I will build a monastery now here. This is very auspicious sign. And he called this monastery his very first monastery of Drukpa Kargyud lineage. He called it Ralung. Ra means God, and Lung means prophecy, So Ralung, he built up. So and then he walked further, and then he was thinking, what should I call my lineage? He was walking, and he reached nearby Lhasa, a place called Nam. At Nam, he was thinking, what should I call my lineage? As soon as he, thought that, in the sky, 9 times, the thunder, like thundering of sound of thunder, goes on, and it thundered, in the space for 9 times very loudly, So he was thinking, now I should call my lineage Drukpa. Drukpa means, when we call it this, the thunder, in English it's thunder, right? So in Tibetan we call it's the sound of dragon. So that's why Drukpa, Druk means dragon, Pa means the Drukpa lineage holders. Okay, so quite simple, right? Don't be confused. So Drukpa lineage, for the very first time, Drukpa lineage, or the name, was found, by the master. And some people claim that 9 dragons, female, male, and then their dragon son, dragon daughter, dragon father, dragon mother. So in total, a family of 9 dragon flew into the sky, making a big thunder sound. And then master thought he will give his lineage and the name Drukpa. Okay, so I tried to find, this very, mentioning in the text, but I didn't find in the very biography of Master Sangbajare written by the great scholar of Drukpa Kargyud and Master Pemakapo. In his biography, I just found that it thundered in the sky. There was no any explanation or mentioning about the flying of 9 dragons in the sky, or maybe in other biographies, maybe it is written, early text. Okay, so yeah, it's bit like that. So now we should go further, explore further on the explanation of the biography. So he also established one monastery at Nam, where he created the name for the lineage. So he built their Namdruk monastery for the second time. So previously these 2 monastery used to be very big, and quite many monks, nuns, but later on it was destroyed by the communist army, during the occupation of Tibet. So nowadays we only have very small monasteries. There are 2 small monasteries, one small monastery in Namduk and one small monastery in new built monastery in Ralung. Okay, so so he built that monastery, Namdruk monastery, where he used to reside, as well as in Ralung he used to reside there. And as soon as he built up the monastery, he started teaching, his disciples. And within 1 year, more than 1,000 disciples came to receive his teachings. That was quite many students, for very first year. So many disciples to come and receive his teachings, and later on, more than 50,000 students used to come there and listen to his teaching and receive his blessing and initiations and all that. And some people claim that 100,000 people sometime also gather there for his teaching, and they it's full, house full, so like that. So, and people say, or biographical descriptions say that thousands of his own students got enlightened after receiving and practicing themselves. They got also enlightened, and many got highly realization in spiritual stages. So that time was very golden time of, let's say, Drukpa Kargyud. Master himself was very omniscient and graceful and very blissful. That's why so many got enlightened. So 12th century. So and the beginning of the 13th century. So at that time, many people, they were lucky maybe. So he got so many disciples. So they had to signal, whenever there was a teaching, they had to signal teachings announcement by erecting banners on the high mountain peaks, so that the other disciples could know that there will be a teaching of Master Sangbajare, and then they will join the teaching from the different parts of Tibet. Okay, so let's say there is his prime time, and in his prime time, let's say golden time, he for 3 times taught the Dhamma and instructed the disciples on 6 Naro Yogas and Mahamudra teaching, and let them go for long retreats on the mountains, snow mountains, rocky mountains, whatever, and some who are coming from Bhutan, Nepal, India or China, he also let them go back to their countries and do meditation and spiritual practice further, and to get some experience. He never told that you should learn philosophical texts. He just gave his pith instruction and let them do it, let them experience it on the experiential level. They have to reach or achieve the spiritual goal. Okay, so that was the way of Drukpa, let's say Drukpa's teachings method. So unless you practice, you don't have any result, right? So that's the meaning of his very teaching and instructions. And at the last time when he taught them all the teachings and initiations and whatever he taught, and then master died, and the disciples themselves decided, or let's say carried on the master's previous instruction, and they themselves went back to their countries and places, on the mountains, on the snow mountains, in these sacred places, where all the medicants once existed, and they continued their practices, and many of them really got enlightenment. So he was like that. So after him, there were 3 branches of lineages were developed. 3 branches of lineages, or Drukpa lineages, developed 3, and these 3 are called Upper Drukpa, Lower Drukpa, Middle Drukpa. So these 3 are very commonly known as Upper Drukpa, Lower Drukpa, and Middle Drukpa. So these 3 are very well known. Let's say they used to say Upper Drukpa is like stars in the sky, and Lower Drukpa is like let's say sand in the water, and Middle Drukpa is like the dust on the earth or dust on the ground. So they used to say like this, these 3, metaphorically they used to say these things. Okay, so that means he had so many disciples, from him spread out so many disciples throughout Tibet, Himalayan regions, in Nepal, in Bhutan, in also in China. Okay, so I would like to stop here for a while, and I hope you understood my explanation. Thank you for watching, and I keep explaining the rest of the teaching or biography, his biography. We are very end now. His biography is over. Now we talk about how his disciples had carried his legacy and his teachings further. Thank you so much.